Hello, ladies and gentlemen. MarauderEX here with another E3 recap. I've just finished watching the Microsoft conference, and as expected, one of the big three. They're going to have a little bit longer, so this might be a little bit longer video than yesterday, but they showed a lot of stuff. So we're just going to jump right into it. First, right off the bat, new Xbox One. They've got the Xbox One S. It's the smaller, sleeker sort of thing happens. I mean, the original Xbox One, it's a giant box. People were making fun of it being like Betamax. It's huge. So they've made a smaller version of that. You know, as someone who has a ton of consoles and space is kind of a factor, that's a welcome addition. So I'd be more interested in getting an Xbox One S than an original Xbox One. So next up, they have a bunch of Windows 10 Xbox One cross-play. They're going to have a lot of features, like you can pick up and play between games. Like if you buy it on one, you don't have to buy it on both. They're opening up that ecosystem there for Windows 10. They're very specific about Windows 10, so it sounds like you have to buy it through the Windows 10 store. So you got to buy it through them. But if you buy the Windows 10 version or the Xbox version, it looks like it for a lot of things it's going to be interchangeable. So also top for that. They showed off Gears of War 4. A little more, gameplay of Gears of War 4. I haven't played Gears of War since Gears of War 2, so I'm kind of missing out a little bit on that. So then they showed Battletoads and Gears of War characters are going to be in Killer Instinct. So I just made the comment of you got your Battletoads in my Killer Instinct, and I got my Killer Instinct in your Battletoads, like the Reese Cup. Anyway. Killer Instinct, I have to say, is actually doing really well. I'm kind of surprised it's still a thing, because it doesn't get as much press as it seems to generate in terms of player base. So I was really surprised that they were continuing something on that. But apparently it's doing alright, so also top for that. They showed off Forza, which Forza looks pretty, but I mean, it's Forza. It looks it's a pretty racing game. That's where we're at on that one. It's a pretty racing game. Showed off more Recore, the game that's done by Keiji Inafune, that's not about robots killing each other, but it's about robots killing each other. So. Oh, no. Totally not going to make jokes about that one. They showed off a little bit more on it. They named the mechs that, that can aid you with their cores, so you can... It further cements that one or all of them are probably going to die in some sort of gut-wrenching fashion, because you can't have a companion that doesn't die in games these days. They showed off a little bit more on Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 looks really good. I'm very on the fence about Final Fantasy 15. At the start, it's like, okay, this looks a little weird. Played the first demo, wasn't thoroughly impressed with the gameplay. The graphics looked amazing, but the gameplay just didn't kind of something. The second demo, a little more sold on it. I gotta say, Square is so slowly selling me on Final Fantasy 15. I don't think I'll spring for the collector's edition, but they're probably going to get a sale out of me now. So that more stuff on the Division. I have a free code for the Division that I have not used, so. Like, I have zero interest in the Division. Like, it was something that looked like it was going to start off really strong, and then it just kind of fell on its face really hard. So, not like that. And then the same for Battlefield 1. More Battlefield stuff. I mean, I'm glad we're not continuously going into the future with this, and that we're not going into, like, these hyper-realistic, like, space age. Like, I have, laser weapons and like... They're keeping it World War I. They're keeping it very, time accurate. So I'm a little more interested in that. But and it's World War I rather than World War II. Everyone kind of focused on World War II for a good long time. So this is it. It's somewhat different. They're trying. So then they talked about the Xbox Live background music, the language, Cortana, things like that. So you can have background music while you're like, okay, that's... I'm one of those people that actually likes listening to the soundtrack of several games. I have more game soundtracks than I have, musical CDs. So that doesn't really do much for me, but I can see where people would want to play, like listen to their own music while they're playing, especially like playing an online shooter where there's not really as much music. There's not as much, like there are going to be sound cues, but that's the music's not really a huge thing. Let's see, Xbox clubs looking for group and arena tournaments. So they've gotten, they're building more community stuff. A lot of the stuff looks like it's been on other platforms, but they're putting their Microsoft spin on it. So like they're looking for a group. You can say, I'm a Minecraft builder and I need help doing this, or I'm Call of Duty player and these are my current stats. I'm looking for people to play with. Just so you don't have to keep doing random pickup groups, because in this day and age, you can't really trust random pickup groups. Like, you play random pickup groups in Overwatch, and it can be messy. So it's one of those. It's more fun playing with friends, and they're trying to make it so that you can find friends. So that's interesting. They showed off Minecraft, a lot of Minecraft stuff. Talking about Minecraft VR. Yay, Minecraft. I'm not the target demographic for Minecraft, which is weird because I loved Terraria, but Minecraft just it does nothing for me. They have a system now where you can make your own custom controller. You can customize the color of the facing, the backing, the buttons. You can have little engravings on it. So if you want to spend even more money on an Xbox controller, I wonder if you can do the Elite controllers as well, because those are already really expensive. If you can have a custom Elite controller, I don't know. Either I didn't see it, or they didn't say anything about it. So I have to look into that. What else? The people who made Limbo have a new game called Inside. Rather odd trailer for that they showed. Ton of independent games. They did show Bloodstained. I was really excited about that. They also showed Yooka-Laylee, which I wonder how someone had to swallow their pride for that one, because it's like Microsoft owns Rare. Rare's kind of known for Banjo-Kazooie, which is what Yooka-Laylee is supposed to be a spiritual successor of. So I know someone out there is like, I don't want to edit this into the montage. And they were like, you have to edit this into the montage. So that was a thing that happened. I was kind of excited about that. A lot of independent games. They showed Cuphead also made another appearance. Really excited for that one. So, what else do we got? We Happy Few. Really dark, creepy looking game. Like, if you're not on your meds, you see the world for what it really is, and it is a dark place. It was unsettling. It's one of those that I don't think is going to have a lot of replayability, but it's going to have a fantastic narrative. So, interesting on that one. They had Gwent, the Witcher card game, which again, I love CCGs. This is the second CCG type game that they've shown at E3 so far. Bethesda had theirs for Elder Scrolls Online, and we've got the one from Witcher. And from what I've heard, the Witcher card game is actually really well done. I've not played Witcher 3. I know people are going to crucify me for that one, but I have just not gotten around to it yet. So there's a lot of people that say the card game in Witcher 3 is amazing. And as someone who likes a lot of the card games, hidden in games like Tetramaster for Final Fantasy IX, Triple Triad for Final Fantasy VIII, things like that, I can see something that if I played Witcher 3, I'd spend just as much time playing the card game as the game itself. So they also have, they showed off Tekken 7, which has Akuma versus Heihachi. That was kind of neat. That was really, cinematic trailer. So, but as a fighting game, it would really boil down to mechanics. Like, how does it play? So, got a little gameplay footage, but it's different to play it yourself. Dead Rising, new Dead Rising. Frank West is back. Looks like it could be a lot of fun. I'm wondering if is it Microsoft exclusive? Because the last Dead Rising was Microsoft exclusive. So I have a feeling it probably will be, but it might be. They might be able to pick it up on Windows 10. You never know. So it's like I loved the first two Dead Risings. I really did. I have not played 3 because I don't have an Xbox One. So if it is Xbox One only, then I'll probably be skipping this one as well, unless I buy one of the Xbox S's. So, or what's coming up. Anyway, Scalebound, they showed off Scalebound, a little more actual gameplay rather than just a trailer. It looks very Panzer Dragoon meets Monster Hunter to me, and that's not a bad thing. I think it has a lot of potential. This is one of those games that probably could get me to play an Xbox One, pick up an Xbox One, because it looked fun, it looked interesting. It's got just enough quirk to it, but the mechanics look entertaining. So I was definitely intrigued by that one. And then next up was Sea of Thieves, which I was laughing. I was like, the reason why ships in the military have a very defined structure. You have a command structure to make sure stuff gets done. Because there was a lot of, in the trailer, there was a lot of, hey, we still need to lower the mainsail. It's like, I don't know how. Well, someone do it. Or it's like, I'm steering, I can't see through the mainsail. Someone has to tell me what to do. It's a lot of reliance on people. And again, I was just talking about how pickup groups can be messy. So this is one of those, like, if you're playing with friends and you just know you're going to screw up, and the screwing up is going to be part of the fun. But it looks like if you're trying to, actually do something, it can blow up in your face real fast, because they showed people telling, I have to repair the ship before it sinks, and then it doesn't, and the ship sinks. So that's how I would expect a lot of the random encounters of that game to actually play out, if it's random players, or if you have to like pick up a lobby or find people to play with. I guess that'll depend on how it'll actually play out. But it looks like it could be a lot of fun and a lot of frustration at the same time. So they showed State of Decay. Looked like a lot of the zombie survival games. I'm trying to remember which one, the name of the one that was based off of Arma, the H1Z1, something like that. I don't remember. It's a zombie survival game that basically just everyone who's playing it is paranoid and kills everyone else instead of trying to band together to fight zombies. This one looks a little more co-op than that, so could be interesting, because I like the whole concept of working together against. Like, I'm a very much PvE type person rather than PvP. So working together with random people online, saying, hey, we have to work together to actually survive. Otherwise, we're all going to die, and the game's not as fun. So they showed Halo Wars 2, which I actually thought Halo Wars was pretty decent. Playing RTS on console is one of those things that's rather difficult, because RTSs, if you have like a simplistic RTS, you don't have a lot of strategy to it. So the more complicated you make it to actually add various elements of strategy, the harder it is to play on a console, because you're limited to console controls. It's like, I've played Warcraft 2 on PC, and I've played it on a Sega Saturn. It's difficult, to say the least. So I'm excited to see where it goes with this one. So the first one, it looked like a very balanced RTS that looks like it just didn't get enough love. And so maybe Halo Wars 2 might fix that. So, and then the very last thing that they ended on was a new console. Basically, a new console. We have hit the console cycle where it's not a full console lifespan. It's more the cell phone lifespan of every couple of years you get an upgrade. It doesn't mean the current, like, your current phone is not as crappy, and a lot of the things that the new one can do, yours can still do as well. Just the new one does it a little bit better because it's got newer tech behind it. And that seems to be what Microsoft was going with this. They're saying the Xbox One, the Xbox One S, and Project Scorpio is what it's currently called. If you pick up a game, it can be played on all of them. It just will be played better on Project Scorpio. It's like they're the no gamer left behind type thing, which I find really interesting that you were going that route, because there are going to be things that are going to be Project Scorpio exclusive. I can only imagine that there are going to be things that are Project Scorpio exclusive. If they don't, then why did they take the time to do it? Why did they spend the time and resources to make something more powerful if you're not going to have something that take advantage of that power that cannot be done on previous consoles? So but anything that would be Xbox One specific will be able to scale upward. So it's going to be interesting, and it's I'm wondering if this is going to be the future of gaming, or if this is just something that gaming is trying and experimenting with now to see how the market reacts to it, because I can see I could do a whole video about this, and I probably will, so I don't take up too much more time in this one, because I can see some pros and cons to a phone style lifespan to a console. Like I said, pros and cons. I don't know where I fall on the fence on that one yet, because that could potentially be a lot of money every couple of years if you want to stay up to date, or if you don't mind waiting a couple of years for price drop to jump on board. Anyway, like I said, I could do a huge... I probably will. I'll probably do a video after E3 talking about the console style lifespan change. So that was Microsoft's press announcement. I will not be doing the Ubisoft announcement. I'll be watching it, but I won't do a video on it. But I will be doing Sony's later tonight, so you'll see another video from me later tonight about that. In the comment section, let me know what you thought about Xbox. Did you feel they came out swinging? Did you feel that it was a little lackluster? Was there something you wanted to see that they didn't show? Was there something that they did show that you weren't expecting? Let me know your thoughts and feelings about Microsoft's performance, because every year at E3, the big three get rated on what they actually brought to the table, who won E3, and right now, I gotta say, Microsoft put out a solid show. I've definitely seen worse shows. I've seen better, but not many. So I think it was a really strong showing. But I don't want to count my chickens before they're hatched, because we still have Sony coming up, and we've got Nintendo coming up. Sorry, I can't. Anyway, so let me know your thoughts about Microsoft show in the comment section, and I will see you later for Sony's announcements later this evening. So look forward to it. Till then, later, everyone.